On the 3rd of February 2020, there was an attack from the Syrian army by some guns, and 8 Turkish soldiers were killed during or in an envoy. They were coming from Turkey to Idlib, and they were attacked by the artillery of a Syrian government or a state army, and those 8 soldiers were killed in the action, let's say, and 5 more have been wounded seriously. After that, the Turkish and the Russian relations are deterred greatly, because the Turkish army is suggesting that we have given all these information to Russia where the envoy is going to cross. But the Russian army is saying we haven't received anything. It is in that regard true, and it seems true, that the Russian army has not verified the information that have been sent by Turkish army, but also it is true that the Turkish army has sent the information to Russian army. Now there is a dilemma here, is that unless the Russian army verifies the information, you shouldn't be acting, or does Russia act as if they haven't received but they want to give a message to Turkey or not? So that's the real problem, and Turkey now considers, and they have some I will say verification for that, that the Russian and the Syrian army are acting hostile against Turkey. Now let's talk about this, and let's talk about what might happen. Now on 3rd of February 2020, due to the artillery, Syrian army acted upon a Turkish envoy coming from Turkey to Idlib. 8 Turkish soldiers were killed, and 5 of them are wounded seriously. That was a tragic for Turkey, and it, if not, but I will say deeply, changed the relations between Russia and Turkey. If you want to go back a month before from now, on the 31st of December 2019, we have published a video and said openly that between Turkey and Russia, the relations will deter greatly. There will be cracks starting, we are going to see. And really, this is the first crack that we will see, and that relation will end somehow in 2020 or 2021. Somehow it will end. And because it's inevitable that the Turkish and the Russian relations will be perfect or good even, because our interests are mutual, and one way to another, the history predicts that they can't get along with each other. The same day, on the 3rd of February, President Erdogan flew to Ukraine to meet with his counterpart, President Zelensky, and also the leader of the Turkish community over there, the Kırım community especially. And that was a message that Erdogan gave to them, and he didn't even cancel his meeting, even the deaths of the Turkish army. The Russia sent the message to Turkey that we are not happy what you are doing, we have great suspicions about you. And now this is a kind of a show between these two regional forces. The Syrian army says that we have not been informed by the Russian army, and we thought that they are terrorists and we just attacked it. It's impossible that the Syrian army, without acknowledging and seeing the targets physically, they will do such artillery operation. And once you see them by kind of terminal and other things, you will see immediately that they are all Turkish. So the Syrian army, although acknowledged that they haven't received, we consider it's almost impossible that they haven't. Plus, the Russian says we haven't received it, doesn't mean that the Turkish army hasn't sent the information to Russia. So there is something in the Russian side, most likely, seems be lacking, and the Russia cannot give this answer 100%, and that costs a ton of the soldiers' life. Now, President Erdogan's hands is tight in this regard. Why? because there is a great pressure in Turkey on him about this situation. It might be seen as an accident, but none of the Turkish political leaders believe that it is. Moreover, it doesn't seem it is a real mistake. Even you counter it 1 death or 10 death or 100 death, the mistake is not that small. That increase even or enhance the suspicion a lot. So what happened after that, after the 3rd of February, while he was there, he met with his counterpart and the Turkish community leader in Kırım, and he came back. And on the 8th of, which is, I'm shooting this today, on the 8th of February, or the 7th of February, let's say, the Syrian army have entered the Saragip region, which means that whatever the Russians and the Syrians say, it's really fake. That's why Erdogan and the Turkish political leader said that the Astana process and the Sochi agreement should be revisited, because it's now void. And it seems that the Russians, including the Syrians, with the help of course, the Iran proxy forces, try to put the Turkey out of the area by small steps. This is, it seems, the real plan. Now, in I don't know how you might, maybe you have heard this, I will say a joke or a story, but the story is about a group of lions and a group of the cows, or the bulls, let's say, in Africa. And the groups of the lions are attacking, or they try to, let's say, attack on these bulls, but because they are like acting like a community, they cannot really take one and feed themselves. So at last there is a eel and an old lion with one eye blind, and he said, "I will solve your problem." He went to the leader of these bulls and said, "There is a eel and a yellow bull over there. Please let us eat this, and we will not even attack you anymore." The bulls came together, and they decided to sacrifice it in the terms of the greater good, which is peace. And they eat it, the lions eat it, and they thought it was over. However, the lion came again and said, "Oh, there is one there. Its tail is so beautiful, swinging one right, one left. It makes us crazy. Please let us eat it, so we will have no problem." Like this, then they become a small community, and then they question themselves, where did we do the wrong, where it started? And the leader said, we shouldn't have given the yellow bull at the first place. So Erdogan, therefore, is in the very bad position. If he's going to revisit all these Sochi agreement, including the Astana process, without gaining some territory, I will say gains, including some even more better agreement, he will be in the losing position. He might be seen, and I think he will be seen in losing position, which is going to really put him in a bad position, that's for sure, politically, and it will be a pressure on him that he's not really the leader of the country. He's losing his power. It will be seen really bad. In order to avoid this, he has to gain something else. Therefore, Turkey has a couple of, or I say only two things to do. Either they are going to strengthen the force over there and up until the February, and then they will revisit all these agreements, the Sochi and the Astana process, and he will try to gain something in return. Now we have already seen that the Turkish army has sent 150 commando forces, including the weapons and the 50 vehicles over there to Taftanas, which is a very near post to Saragip, where the Syrian forces have entered. Now it means that the Turkish army seems re-strengthened its position over there. So we are really trying to put or dig and put our heels in the soil, in the land. Or this even 150 commando forces is not enough. We have to really make or demonstrate power, regional power, by putting a great number of soldiers, and that we are showing that we are serious about this, and there will be consequences for you, and we have to act decisively about it, which means military operation, so be it. Because unless Turkey gains something else, President Erdogan's position will be weakened by this loss, that's for sure. In the long run, you might consider that it's up and down. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Yes, for sure, it's true. But this is going to be something that he will be lost. And almost 8 soldiers' life is great as a number. So he has to gain something else. Otherwise, it will be really bad for him. So that's why we think one of the things might happen. And we should not also forget the fact that there are 1.5 million refugees now, or people living in that area. So if they are going to now be pushed to Turkey, which Turkey, by the way, doesn't want to accept them in, and that will be a great problem for our economy, which is already under a great stress. The Turkish lira is now around 6 lira against $1, and it has lost already, I think, I believe, around, let's say, 2% to 3% in last 1 week to 2 weeks time, which is really a great loss in terms of stability if you consider in Turkish lira. That's why Turkey cannot take this in, because it will be a great burden for the economy. In order to stop this, Turkey is very tight, hands are very tight. I believe that Turkey has to demonstrate a force over there in order to stop all these 1.5 million to come in, to be accepted or taken in the country. And for that, if there will be a clash between the Syrian army and the Turkish army, I think Turkey will now consider let it go. Either 1.5 million in the long run, or in the short term, controlled manner operation between two countries, almost the same cost. The relations might be dirtier, so whatever. Therefore, we might see a real military clash between two, Syrian army and the Turkish army, in case Turkey prefers not to step back, which I believe shouldn't be stopped back, because almost the cost of these actions are same. If you take it in the 1.5 million in the long run, and a couple of months, maybe a military operations in that region between two countries, almost the same cost, including the pressure on the economy. So if you consider like that, of course, I am not talking about the lives that cannot be even compared, and one life is even important, whatever the side is, no problem. But if you consider from the economic positions and political positions, it's going to be the same effect in the long and the short term. Therefore, now it becomes a real, I will say, choice for Turkey to consider. So we will closely monitor the situation between Syria and Turkey, and we will let you know when we hear something new. If you like this video, please press the like button on the screen, and if you subscribe yourself to our channel, we will be very happy to share our first videos with you from now on. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.